Come with me on one of my latest photo shoots as a full-time, multi-agency represented, internationally working, professional model and model coach. Okay, we are in for a ride. This might get a little unhinged, but I promise you it's going to be super fun. So I started the day getting dressed, of course, in the first look. We actually shot at this pretty well-known parking garage in Miami. I've shot here several times before, so I basically knew what I was doing. Right? So this is the team. Yes, we were all girl gang today. It was so refreshing. You guys have no idea how rare it is to have like an all female team. So I was already loving this day. This is the garage. As you can see, if you're familiar with the colors that you see here and kind of like the infrastructure, I feel like you've probably seen people who have taken photos here before. If you want to see my previous photos that I shot here, let me know by dropping a heart in the comments below, and I will definitely pull them up, dust them off just so you guys can get a nice little view, okay? So I was not the first model to shoot, which is totally fine because that gave me time to frame all of these shots that we're gonna get. This was my other model who I shot with today. She's also, fun fact, really involved with the team that shot today. So she wore multiple hats. She even filmed me for some of the things that we were doing for their social. So it was really, really great. And if you guys want to see the end results of these shots and what we actually captured, let me know and I'll just do like a full recap showing you guys the visuals of what we caught for this client and previous visuals I've gotten here as well. But it was a lot that happened in the background. I don't know if you guys caught a little bit of clearing happening on the set right there, but there was a lot of unmentionables that were just discarded around. So we made the best of it though. But that's a story time all its own. Nonetheless, we had a great time shooting this location and we used the shade where we could. I did not mention that this is a shoe client, guys. She's not just laying there for fun, okay? The focus is the shoes. So you're gonna see a lot of very shoe-centered shots. And that's why, okay? So that was the perfect time for me to segue and let you guys know the type of client we were working with, okay? Now, is this a ledge? Yes. Does the ledge pour over to this amazing skyline? Also, yes. Does it also plummet 8 stories plus down? Yes. Yes, it does. Did I still incorporate this entire experience into my posing? Absolutely. Why? Because that's what I'm paid to do, okay? I'm not saying you have to put yourself in danger, but you know, live a little. And this wasn't my first time at this location, so I was okay. So that's me. I'm up there. This is the ledge. Couple of notes, pro tips as a full-time model. 1, wearing light clothing and sitting on anything outside is always a recipe for disaster. So if you have like a little towel or anything that you can kind of like sit on but won't be seen, that's why my hand is like literally like in between my legs, and I always keep it there so that you don't see the towel that I'm sitting on, but I also don't mess up the wardrobe, okay? If you guys can also see, I am not forgetting the rest of my body. So even though this is a photo shoot focused on shoes, I'm making sure to accentuate my shoes, accentuate my legs, but I am also making sure that I'm giving you dynamics with the rest of my body, okay? So my arms have placement. I'm rotating my shoulders, my torso, my head, giving different angles, looking at the camera, looking away from the camera. Like, make it fun, make it dynamic. Don't just sit there and do the same thing. Micro movements will be your best friend, I promise, okay? I also have another YouTube video coming out, should be coming out maybe in a few days, a week. And I'll go more into like more posing tips because like there's so much that I could just talk about when it comes to posing. So I have a whole nother video for that. So if you're not already subscribed, you should be so that you can get notified when that video drops. Now let's talk about the video aspect of this, okay? So as we were doing photos of the shoes and things like that, we also did video, which is very common on sets now. When it's video for social, the way that they kind of like intertwine it is normally at this point, the photographer is, you know, going through the actual shots that that we've gotten already, and they're making sure that we have what the client is expecting. And now we're getting into our video, so you have a lot of motion, and it's really casual, really fun, really believable, sets the tone, gives you the vibes. Now it's time for our next looks. So that was all our first looks for both models. So there were 2 pair of shoes that we highlighted with different backgrounds. We did stills and we did video. And now it's time to change our looks as well as our shoes, which are the product. Okay. And decisions. But I think our looks came out very, very well after we already changed. We were in the design district in Miami, so we did a lot of on location here because the colors were perfect. There were barely any people here, and we just had all the locations we needed in one space. So let's get into this second look. Fun fact, when it comes to wardrobe, even though it always looks good on like the final shots, there's a lot of clipping, there's a lot of penning, there's a lot of things that are being, duct taped together, on the inside to make it look like it's a perfectly tailored piece for you. So that's what we started off our shoot doing. Once we have that together, we got our marks for the motion. So if you see me, I'm kind of rotating, taking a few steps, talking to the photographer so that I know what the framing is for the shot, so that I can make sure I stay in that, I highlight that, and I'm giving the photographer what she needs for these shots. All right. Pro tip, please communicate with your photographers. Okay. They want the shot just as much as you do. So don't be afraid to converse. I tried to sneak a couple of looks at the actual shots, but I wasn't fast enough. As you guys can clearly see. Well, now we're on to our next location. I know you guys are like, man, y'all are just moving. It's yeah, we were out there for a while, but I promise you the shots were literally all worth it. So we went to the second story of the actual shopping center, the center of the actual strip of the design district. And we got this amazing blue cast on a lot of the shots, just for a different dynamic. You know what I mean? We do a lot of things that are in the sun, but we always have the sun. Sometimes you just want a different change of pace and to set different moods and different tones, especially to give your client variety. Now, that's something that models normally don't worry about, but just to give you some insight on why we're changing locations, why we change wardrobe, why it seems like we're doing all of this work just for a few shots. Okay, I know you're probably not thinking it, but just in case you were. All right, so the lovely model that I was with, this is her second look, and she started here. I'm telling you, the white that reflected all of that blue light around her, it was just chef's kiss. I loved this look on her. I think this is my favorite look on her. We also did some product shots with her actual shoes, and I held them. If you guys want to see those shots again, let me know, drop a heart, and I will pull everything together so you guys can see the final products that we were actually able to produce. But shots like this were just amazing. They really made the vision come to life. Next up, we rotated to my shots, and this was the background. I love the artwork, and that changes often, so I was glad that was in the background for my next shot. This was going to be motion. So we focused a lot on video initially for this look, and then we switched into photos. But as you guys can see, all these motions, they seem really sporadic, but they are all being spliced together for a reel and a TikTok. And I promise you, it felt a little silly to do it, but I always trust the vision. I always trust the vision, because when you guys see the final results, it's just oh my gosh, I would do that too. All right. Once we wrapped up the video on that, we switched back over to photo. And as you can see, surprise, surprise, there's the second model as well. Always having her changing her hats when it comes to this production, but she did it flawlessly. I don't know if you guys caught in the last look, she was the person who's doing my video. She's also going to do the video for this look as well. She's really, really good. But all that aside, now we're getting into the photos. So we're in a different environment, different clothing, different shoes. And I was just really excited to incorporate a lot of the stairs. Something else that I really loved is if you have a good line of communication with the photographer, you can always ask for ideas. You can always ask for feedback. Now, I'm not saying every time they snap a photo, ask them how it looks, but you can always spitball an idea off of them. I asked her hey, am I able to lay on the steps? Because this is wardrobe. They might be, returning it. It might be a style pull. I don't know. But just by asking her, I was able to expand the amount of poses that I was able to do and execute just because I communicated. So outside of just the walking shots and standing shots, I was able to lay, I was able to sit, I was able to lean. I was able to diversify my poses all because I communicated. So that's a little pro tip for free. Once we were done there, we were not done yet. We had yet another look, but we were changing locations and of course looks as well. Okay. I did not catch the second model's third look, but she did great. And you guys kind of see it here, that checkered suit, that's what she was wearing for her third look. I didn't get any footage, so I'm sorry about that. But we did photos and videos here. So she was getting video the same time that we were doing photos. And the one thing I did love about this photographer, as I always love when I work with her, is that she's always going to give you a starting point on the pose. So something that she's looking for from the mood board, because I didn't see the mood board, she did. So she would always give me a starting point, and then we would definitely like bounce around from there. But that is how the shoot went. And that's a wrap. So be sure to like this video and subscribe to see more model videos just like this.